What's up everybody, my name's Zach. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to teach you how to mount a slider to an overhead camera rig. If you can't tell yet, it's actually right here. Now if you look back in the videos of my channel, I've done a video on how to make an overhead camera rig, and I made mine out of 3/4 inch pipe, just bought from a hardware store. So check back on that video if you'd like to see how that was built, and we'll be building onto it today for this new rig. But first off, all the parts you're gonna need an overhead camera rig, which if you haven't built, you might need to build one of those first, and I can teach you how in that other video, so I'll put the link up there on the top of the screen. You're gonna need 2 ball head clamps, or 2 ball heads with like a super clamp, I think is what they call it. I bought mine off of Amazon. They're small rig branded, but you're gonna need 2 of these. You're also gonna need your slider, and mine is a newer brand. I've got my newer brand slider from Amazon. I think it was about 120 bucks, iffy, something like that. A great slider. I mean, it's not motorized or anything, although this setup will work with a motorized slider. And that's basically all you're gonna need. You're gonna need a way to mount your tripod to the camera plate on the slider, which I'm assuming you already have. I do mine with the Joby ball head off of like a GorillaPod. That's my favorite one to use, mainly because I have the clips. I can just alternate between cameras. So that's what I use, and any of them will work. So once you get all them things gathered up, let's jump into how to do it. So here is my normal camera rig that I built a while back in the other video. And what I want to do is I'm going to take this ball head off, which is just held on by a 1/4 inch screw that I've drilled through the pipe. So that's what I was used to be using, just with a straight down shot with it. Now I'm going to replace that with the camera slider and then put this on the camera slider. So let's do that real quick. Now this thing can set anywhere, left or right. I'm just going to do it in the center just to keep it simple. So it's going to sit about like that and then have the ball head connected to it. Okay, so on each end of your camera slider, you're going to have holes, and that's to screw in tripods on each side to give it balance and to hold it sturdy. We're just going to take our ball heads and screw into each one of these on each end. Make sure it's pretty tight. Now all you got to do is mount it to the bar. Now I think it's easiest to do 1 clamp at a time, so I installed this clamp and got it at a 90 and got it correct with the handle facing out. And the way you do it facing out is you find your knob that locks your slider from moving left and right. You always want that to be facing you so it's easiest to get to. You don't have to reach around the back and try to get it. So you got that one facing forward and got the handles facing forward. Line it up with the middle. And I'm gonna go ahead and tighten down one side like that. Now come over here and tighten this side down. Now I get these pretty tight just because this is what holds everything up. And there you got it. Now we need to check how level it is and fix that if it needs to be fixed. And we need to put our ball head on, so let me get that. So got this, need to check that out. It's pretty close, so I might need to drop this just a little. Right there looks good. Right there is good enough. You can twist the tripod just a little bit, or you can back your clamps off and rotate your clamps if you need to. I'm happy with that. It ain't but just a hair off, and you won't be able to tell it when you're doing your videos. Double check tightness on everything. Now we need to install our ball head. Now this is the Joby one. I use it the most out of all mine. Put that towards me just because I think that's easiest. Now add the camera. There we go, that's all there is to it. Now we've got an overhead slider. And you can always double check how level you are by sending it somewhere and seeing if it stops. If it keeps rolling, that means you're tilted a little bit, you need to adjust. So over time you want to keep an eye on that. These things might start to fall a little bit, and always check your main clamps. It would be nice to get the clamps mounted on top. That way it would always have pressure down, and it kind of be impossible to to get loose, but it's working for me right now. One thing I would recommend is by this setup I got right here, it is a little wobbly. I can move it pretty easily. Now, if you're not touching the camera, there's no problem. That's why I haven't had an issue yet. But for somebody wanting to use a slider, I would recommend building some type of wood structure, and that's probably what I'm going to be upgrading to in the future. And that'll really help out on how stable you are. But if you move slow, it doesn't move. It doesn't shake at all. So this is still usable, and I'm happy with it. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the video. This right here is easier to build than it looks. It's not really that hard. All you need is a couple cheap parts and a slider, and then an overhead rig if you haven't already got anything that'll work. But it can be all built for really cheap, and you get really great results from it. So I hope I was able to help you out. I know that it was kind of cool to be able to get some different type shots from this thing right here. So if you liked the video, thumbs it up for me. I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you here. If you have any comments or questions or tips or ideas to make this even better, put them down in the comments. I'd love to see them. I'd love to think about how to improve it myself. So do that if you can. But I hope everybody has a great day. Good to see you here. And I'll catch y'all in the next video. See ya.